Daniel Candeias dragged Pedro Caixinha out of a deep dark hole, but only after the winger helped dig it in the first place. The Portuguese wideman missed the kind of chance to sink Thistle that could give managers nightmares as well as their P45. But he redeemed himself in style by grabbing the crucial goal to finally shake off the Jags before teeing up sub Eduardo Herrera and seal a win that fired shares into the Betfred Cup last fall, and give his gaffer some daylight when it looked like the darkness was closing in. Carlos Peña seemed to have sent the Ibrox side though, but Candeias duffed a shocker when he should have nabbed a killer second. The miss could have been costly as Chris Doolan pounced with a dramatic stoppage time leveler to send the tie into extra time. But Candeias made amends and took the heat off his manager in the process. It might be the turning point for Rangers. It certainly was for Peña. He was starting to look like the Ibrox international man of mystery. The Mexican arrived with a hefty price tag and a wage packet to match, but actual sightings have been rare. Eduardo Herrera celebrates his goal with Ryan Jack Image SNS Group. 3 months is a long time to shake off the jet lag, but last night Peña finally arrived. His deliciously diverted headed opener seemed to have set Jays on their way, but a familiar tale of wastefulness up front and fragility at the back made it a more stressful night than Caixinha needed a few days before Celtic hit Govan. The Ibrox boss has enough on his plate but now has concerns over Bruno Alves and Declan John, who both limped off on the way to joining Lee Wallace in the treatment room. At least Rangers got through. Failure last night and Caixinha would have been in deep trouble. Rangers' Daniel Candeias celebrates scoring the crucial second. Rangers sweat as Bruno Alves picks up injury ahead of Celtic clash, but questions remain. If the defence can't cope with Connor Salmon, how will they get to grips with Lee Griffiths and co? Peña's arrival in the starting lineup was one of 3 changes to Caixinha's side from Friday's feisty square go. Kenny Miller was given the night off. Cup keeper Jan Anik came in and John replaced Wallace. Rangers started on the front foot and Graham Dorrans was forcing the issue from deep as they probed down the flanks. There was a hint of the bad blood still running from Friday, especially when Ryan Edwards went in with another tackle that caused a few winces. Rangers' Daniel Candeias scores his side's second. Image PA. The Aussie was lucky to escape days ago when he went over the ball on Ryan Jack and was fortunate not to see a card after sliding in late on Fabio Cardoso inside the opening few minutes last night. The big defender shrugged it off and moments later sent a volley miles over the top. Ref Stephen McLean dug out a card for Stephen Lawless for smashing into John and the tone was set. It was clear this was going to be another eventful evening. Jays were pushing and Salmon found space on the edge of the box but couldn't get a hold of his drive and Anik collected. Caixinha's men were looking dangerous and should have been in front midway through the opening half. Chris Doolan of Partick Thistle scores. Image Getty Images Europe. Alfredo Morelos superbly made himself space to let fly, and while Ryan Scully beat his stinger out, Josh Windass made the hash of the rebound as he scuffed it wide of the target with the goal gaping. Peña was playing off the front and although he made a quiet start he crept into the game. The Mexican was having to go looking for spaces and was popping up and beginning to prod holes in the Partick defense. He slipped neat balls into Morelos and Candeias only for Danny Devine and Niall Keown to make last-gasp blocks. It was the spaces left at the other end that concerned Caixinha. Christy Elliott's cross was inches away from causing all kinds of bother and Salmon forced Anik into a smart stop at his near post. Rangers' Carlos Peña celebrates Image SNS Group. He made an even better one soon after from the same man's header when the Ibrox defence was cracked by Elliott's cross and the knockdown from Edwards. The Ibrox side needed a spark. Windass tried to provide it with a burst down the left, but his cross was cut out before Morelos had to go down the same flank. The Colombian was busier than anyone and skinned his man, but when he hit the byline there was no one in the middle. He didn't need help moments later when Candeias sent him scampering through. The mortgage was on him tucking it away, but he tugged wide with Scully charging out. The opener was only delayed though. Jays forced a corner and Candeias whipped it over for Peña to superbly nod the ball into the far corner. It was a nerve settler. At least it should have been. Rangers' Carlos Peña celebrates making it 10. Image SNS Group. Yet Salmon continued to give Rangers grief. Alan Archibald lobbed on Doolan to give Jags an extra body up top. Salmon seemed to find space all night and the Rangers defence stood off to allow him to curl one goalward, but Anik managed to beat it out. Any jitters should have been eased soon after. Instead Candeias blew an absolute sitter. In fairness to Paul McGinn, the Jags defender did his best to make amends after his slip sent the Portuguese winger clear. Candias skipped past Scully but ballooned over the bar with McGinn trying to block. It was Jez who enjoyed a major let-off though late on. The ball pinged around the 6-yard box after a corner, and when it fell to Doolin it looked to banker, but the Jags man scooped it over. Rangers Ryan Jack and Patix Connor Salmon Image SNS Group Rangers survived but couldn't hang on to see it out. Adam Barton whipped the ball in and Salmon again got the leap on his man. This time Doolin didn't miss. The Jags man rammed into the net from close range to send the tie spinning into extra time. Rangers were shell-shocked and had to go again, but it took just 4 minutes for the crazy fog to lift and Candias to redeem himself. The miss was a shocker, but his goal was a sizzler. The winger drifted inside, created space and drilled it low into the bottom bin from the edge of the box. It was a ripper of a finish, and the light blue legions got to relax again soon after as Candias again did the damage. He picked up the loose ball after a flashed cross, and his cutback gave Herrera the chance to make it 31 with a cute back heel. Rangers survived, but it remains to be seen if they will be able to say the same this weekend.